Okay, we are going to reflect on the situations that we have analyzed and also relating them to the topics that we covered during unit number 3. We are going to also consider the implications of our examples in an EFL classroom and the way in which how we can improve it in our classes. So, good afternoon, Marley. My name is Jorge Sancho, and I'm going to ask you some questions for this interview. The first question is, why do you think the use of mother tongue is important in EFL classes?
Jorge, it's a pleasure to be here with your interview. Well, about the questions, I think mother tongue make easier for children to pick up and learn other languages. And mother tongue develop a child's personal identity. Using the mother tongue helps a child develop their critical thinking and some researchers show that children learning in their mother tongue adopt a better understanding of the curriculum and enjoy the school more and learn faster due to feeling comfortable in the environment.
Okay, that's really interesting. The second question is, why do you think the use of mother tongue is not important in a second language acquisition?
Well, as an English teacher, I consider it's important to avoid the extreme use of the mother tongue. The use of the mother tongue in foreign language teaching cannot be seen as an easy way to achieve this in the target language. That's why I think that too many uses of the native language in English classes may have one of them can be, for example, useless. It has been translated into their native language. Teacher or students feel that elements of the language will not be understood.
I totally agree with you. The third question that I made you is, how does English change the reactions in each different community?
Uh, I think a language is both a system of communication between individuals and a social phenomenon. The area of language and society, sociolinguistic, is intended to show how our use of language is governed by such factors as class, gender, race, and so on. A subsection of this area is an anthropological linguistic, which is connected with the form and use of the language in different cultures, and to what extent the development of language has been influenced by the cultural environment.
Okay, interesting. And finally, a final question. What is the major problem of teaching English in a different tongue than the mother one?
Okay, some problems encouraged by the teacher in implementing mother tongue based instructions include lack of resources. It means absence or lack of books, of vocabulary, and lack for teachers training in some cases. Okay, that's all.
Thank you so much. Uh, do you have questions for me?
No, no questions. I have 4 questions for you. Okay.
Okay.
The number one is, why do you think the use of a mother tongue is important in EFL classes?
Well, I think that the use of a mother tongue in English classes is of vital importance for a student and his understanding of certain specific words of which he had no idea previously. But as you said, it's important to avoid the extreme use of this mother tongue, as well as to make a contrast between one language and another. However, the English language has its own structures and doesn't need a complement in Spanish. This means that the foreign language is accepted as it is, and the student is aware of the learning process that he or she is carrying out in a second language. Also,
Oh,
the pronunciation must be taught in the target language without confusion between the mother tongue and it.
Okay, it sounds really interesting. Okay, the second one is why do you think the use of a mother tongue is not important in second language acquisition?
I think the use of the mother tongue for the second language acquisition is basic in some cases, especially in children who are completely unaware of the meaning of certain grammatical structures or words in general. If the student didn't have a bilingual orientation towards a second language from an early age, it would be very difficult to for them to study or to learn a second language without the use of a mother tongue.
Okay. Okay. The next question is, how does English change the reaction in each different community?
English is a globalized language from which different dialects and variations can be derived, depending on the culture and the people who speaks this language, which can generate new expressions and new words to define actions or objects that only exist in that environment. This is reinforced by current business and movements of people, but also by socioeconomic level of the students. As you know, a language changes as during the time as well as people. So greater access to electronic devices such as internet allows students to have their first contact with English language at a younger age, while low income children will have their first contact with English later in their lives.
Okay, it's very good. You mentioned a nice point about the English in our environment. Okay, and finally, here we have the final question. What is your major problem of teaching English in a different tongue than the mother one?
Uh, okay, I think that learning English language is made difficult by having to translate the same word twice without using the mother tongue for learning. This shows that the learning process uh, makes it difficult to grasp the grammatical structures since the student will associate these structures with those in his mother tongue. Uh, or that means that both the pronunciation and the writing in a different language provide another degree of difficulty. First, because the teacher can make a mistake since it's not the mother tongue in which is taught. And second, because the student will tend to translate the words first into their mother language and then into the target language.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much for your answers. I'm really appreciate your answers. I then learned a little more about the most important language and universal language that is English. Okay, thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you,
Thank you so
Jorge.
much, Marley, for your comments and your answers. Thank you so much.